Top 5 Pac-12 draft prospects. And this will be the last time I can ever do a top 5 Pac-12 draft prospects. More than likely, unless they...
Well, what about between... You have 3 months.
Yeah, but I mean, this is the top 5. I'm not like... I'm probably going to change it. I'll probably morph it into here's the best defensive ends, here's the best this and that, right. You know. And so, like, I'll do that. But, yeah, no. But as far as the top 5 in the entire Pac-12, I could do top 5 unknown or, like, lesser known.
Groups by history.
Yeah. So, yeah, this is, that's it, So, there's not going to be another top 5 overall NFL Pac-12 draft picks thing ever.
There will be up until the end of the summer, when it becomes no longer the Pac-12.
But as far as top 5s, I can't do this list again. Like, I can do the ACC
Oregon
next
State,
year.
Washington State might have 5.
But no, here, next I guess I could. But like next year, I can do an ACC one again. I can do a Big 12 one again. I might be the last ACC one next year. We don't know.
Okay.
The fickle finger of death comes for us all, I guess.
That poor logo's not good anymore, is it?
Yeah.
Not for 3-4 months.
Number 5, Bralen Trice, defensive end from UW.
Oh man, I got to interrupt you. This guy was a bad what against Texas.
He was all over the place, and he was their best pass rusher all year. He was the one, and here's why I think he's going to be a good, other than the fact that he's really strong, he's quick off the point of attack, and all those things that you like to say about defensive ends. But the reason I think he's going to be good in the NFL is he has a knack for, and he had this all year of who's. Like, on offense, their big play was always Odunze and Penix, right?
Right.
On defense, it was, okay, this is 4th and 1. They need to stop the guy, from getting the first down. Or it's 3rd and 10, and let's just go end this game with a big sack here. He was that guy for Washington, is that he's kind of the Johnny on the spot.
I don't remember his full stats against Texas, but I bet he had
2.5 sacks.
5 tackles, 2 or 3 sacks, 2 or 3 pressures, maybe even a strip sack. I don't know.
Tackle for loss. He had that one where he ran through the hole
in a big
of
moment,
the right
too.
tackle and sacked Quinn Ewers too. So, yeah, Bralen Trice, a guy I like a lot. Number 4, one, if you're not watching UCLA that much, Laiatu Latu from UCLA, great defensive end, one of the highest ranked ones. I think he's probably slotted in somewhere, right behind Dallas Turner and Jared Verse on most boards as far as edge rushers go. A guy who can really get after the quarterback. 2 seasons ago was great. Was really good this year for UCLA on defense. That was their strong side of the ball for the majority of the season, but a guy who can get after the quarterback and will go in the first round.
Unanimous All-American, won the Ted Hendricks Award and the Lombardi Award. He was that good this year.
Yeah, just won the Lombardi a couple weeks ago, and it was a really fun player to watch for UCLA. He's all over the place, big-time engine or motor, I guess you'd say, and was one of the guys that definitely stood out when you watched any of UCLA this season.
Number 3, Tailese Fuaga from Oregon State. He's a tackle, maybe could slide into guard as well, has some position flexibility there. A big road grader of a dude that just knocks you back and was, I know that a lot of people will say, well, what about Martinez? Like they had the great running back and all of that, but I have no problem saying this was the best player on Oregon State's team this year, and they were a really good team. And he was the engine, I think, that kind of made it all go because DJU, even with some great offensive lines at Clemson, never had a guy like this. And that's saying a lot. I'm not trying to knock Clemson. I'm just telling you how good he is. And someone who I'm saying probably the 3rd tackle that'll go off the board after Joe Alt and the guy from Penn State. So he'll probably be the 3rd offensive lineman off the board, and we'll go in the top 15 or 16 picks.
Yeah, he's a good player. I mean, I'm wondering what Damian Martinez's year is going to look like next year. I just selfishly follow him because he's from Texas and was an honorable mention on a couple of different occasions for the Earl Campbell Award Player of the Week stuff and has been now for the past couple of years. But, I've been following along with him, and you suddenly look around and losing a big-time offensive lineman, losing the quarterback, losing the head coach, losing,
wide receiver,
Yeah, wide receiver in Silas Bolden. I mean, like losing. And so, there's going to be a lot of work to do up there. at Oregon State. He'll be around to help with it, but I'm just curious if we see his numbers fall, because I wouldn't be surprised given all that the Beavers have lost, but another confident they can keep this thing chugging along.
Number 2, one of the best, if not the best, wide receivers in the country, Rome Odunze. I shouldn't be surprised that he's on this list. He's a big play machine. He's a key play machine. He is one of the smoothest, I think, an even smoother route runner than Marvin Harrison Jr. is at this point. And, there was, like, Biletnikoff Award, like, it was these two, and, like, there are other guys. Malik Neighbors is going to be drafted really high, and he's someone who's really good. But, for my money, as a guy who's NFL ready, I think Rome Odunze is as good as it gets and can really help them out very well, whoever gets him in year 1, and he'll be a top 10 pick for sure.
Yeah, I'm not going to pretend to get some technical breakdown like I've been watching his all-22 film for the last 7 months like most draft-nick guys. All I know is I don't need to know that he's a star and he's a special player and he's a stud. And I remember watching the Pac-12 championship game, and I think it was that game. There was like an Oregon fan or two on Twitter like, Rome Odunze's not that good. He just pushes off, and it's like, you are on crack. You don't think that this guy's good, and he tore them up. He tore just about everybody up. Yeah, he's a dude, man. I love watching him. I thought he looked so cool when he had the bleach blonde, and the way that it was all the bleach blonde hair just looked cooler than anything I could ever pull off in my lifetime. But he's a star, and was a lot of fun to watch at Washington. Going to miss watching him and just that offense in general. Like I'm glad that I could just sit there and kind of appreciate how many weapons that were so good that they had, and how Penix was able to operate with those weapons. And didn't work out well in the national title game, obviously, but before that, they were so much fun to watch.
Michigan did what not many could, made Penix uncomfortable, which is what we discussed over a week ago. But, I mean, he never seemed like he was ever comfortable. They came at it from different directions. They were better. And then, of course, his throws were off because no quarterback likes to have people all around him in the pocket.
But even then, like, Odunze, if you watch, like, the throws were off. Odunze was open.
Still makes
He's still open. Absolutely. So, like, he still made some catches, but, like, some of the ones, like, there were 2 that he missed where Odunze is against this great defense with all these really good players. Odunze, he was making them look silly. It's just they couldn't get it done. So
they missed at least one touchdown to him, clearly.
Oh,
and if Penix was better, I mean, they still might not win that game, but he had to be pretty much perfect for them to compete in that game, and he wasn't anywhere close, unfortunately. But, there was receivers running free, and Odunze was one of them.
Yeah.
For opportunities to make plays, and he just couldn't connect with them.
Yeah. Number 1. You may not have heard of this guy. I don't know if people have heard of him. He's a little-known guy.
He hadn't played in a while.
Yeah, no. Caleb Williams at USC. I don't really need to go into depth about why he's number 1. He's he won a Heisman Trophy. He's spectacular. He's probably going to be the first pick in the draft. If he's not, it would shock everyone. Even if it's not the Bears picking him, somebody's going to trade up and pick him at number 1. But Caleb Williams, who is, I think I'm curious to see how many, because now, Mahomes is the best quarterback in the world in the NFL, and Caleb Williams has a skill set that's very similar to his, and we're going to see more quarterbacks try to do it and play like Patrick Mahomes, because Caleb Williams seems to have that ability and is even a better runner than Patrick Mahomes is. He's still got, maybe rough around the edges in spots, but this is as good of a dude as there is in the country at any position.
Yeah, it was not a great year, and certainly not versus expectations, but he's still a super talent. There's no denying that, and he can make some ridiculous throws and has a exciting skill set. So, I don't think any of the shine's really worn off of Caleb Williams. I hate that it's kind of entered personal attack mode now. It's like draft time, let's attack his character, and I understand when it's multi-million-dollar investments that you've got to go and check every box, but that's for the people making the choices, like the public attacks. I think people want to see him fail, right? They want to see him fail. And I know a lot of people in Norman especially want to see just it not work out great for particularly Lincoln Riley. But, I think there's some of that probably for Caleb Williams as well. But, he's still a star, even though they didn't have quite the year that they wanted. And even though he didn't mess around too closely with winning a second Heisman Trophy, and being the next Archie Griffin, or the only other guy other than Archie Griffin to do that. But I still, think he's that top guy that you're looking at. I know Drake May, or I guess There's some other quarterbacks that you could throw into that mix, even though he and Drake may have kind of been the top two guys there for a while. But yeah, I'm interested to see with him of just how he handles all of the media, because there's no more. Like, I know he's dealt with media before, but now it's like, no, dude, you gotta answer like the bell no matter what. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, you can't just I don't feel like talking today. It's like, no, you got to be out there after the worst loss you've ever suffered, and you got to answer the media. And so that part of it will be interesting to me. But I think he's a fine guy. I don't like the kind of attacks on his character that I've seen a lot of the times, and he's a good player, no doubt about it.
Yeah, he probably. It's some of the protection with father's it might not even been sometimes him.
Right. Yeah.
It might have been the school. Lincoln Riley's got seems like rabbit ears
and
at
he's
times.
Still 18, 19 years old. Like, I know he's about to be a professional and all that. And so he's going to answer the call now. Like, he has to. But I get why, like, people pick at him. But I still have full faith, I guess is what I'm trying to say, that regardless of whatever little thing here and there, he's still a fantastic football player.
I hope Washington gets here, Drake May.
I'd love for him to be the Commanders quarterback. Absolutely. Give me that all day.
Yeah, and like, for the people that get mad, and a lot of it's probably generational because you're old school and you don't like, he painted the.
Well, he ticked off one of the biggest fan bases in America by leaving to go to USC. That's where I hear a lot of it too, is here in the Oklahoma side of things.
So you can say all that stuff, and it's either like you're a scorned lover, like Oklahoma is, or or you just are old school and you like him. Remember, like, judge him by his actions and his like actual character. It's like when people don't like Baker Mayfield, like, he's a bit of a smartass and he was drunk in public one time. Like, all right, if that's the worst thing that Baker Mayfield ever does to anybody, then like I think he's probably living a pretty clean life.
Well, you know what? It was true too. He was a bit of an ass, and he needed to grow up, and he did. And now look at him now, all these years later. So I mentioned that not to bog down on that, because I just feel all of that's coming like a tidal wave. The character attacks, and we're gonna hear, because you can't really pick apart his game too much.
And part of the times I think character attacks are from teams that are trying to like fool the dumb ones.
And if it's not him, it's going to be somebody else that they do it to. But like that's draft season. That's draft season. You get under the microscope and they pick you apart. And he, as a guy who's been under that microscope now for 2 years, and now it's finally his time. I mean, he's going to really be under that thing. So good luck to him in handling all that. But I have confidence he'll be a top 2 pick after it's all said.
He doesn't need to just get ready to throw and be at the combine and do all of that. He needs to be very well versed when it comes to getting peppered like he's a politician. There's going to be some columnists, maybe a handful, no matter what, that want to get him. And he's got to be, be who you are, be honest. But, there's going to be some that come at him just because they may not like him. I don't know. It's kind of silly, but that's probably true.